But we have seen a transition under Obama. Obama promised more transparency. He promised many things. Those people who are watching closely how he appointed his security advisors understood well before he was elected that those promises would not be fulfilled. What Obama has done is similar to what most good Democrats do. They do it well on paper, but corrupt the system. While Bush corrupted the presidency and a few telecommunications companies, Obama, in order to do things properly, in order to do things on paper, not only corrupted the presidency, he corrupted the courts. He corrupted the FISA court, which issues secret orders. He corrupted the Senate oversight committees that oversee the intelligence agencies and oversee the FISA court. He corrupted political opposition in the media. And we've seen the New York Times, an essentially democratic institution, sit on these stories, including stories of our own. There's a reason Edward Snowden did not go to the New York Times, and he said so explicitly, because they suppressed stories. They suppressed, in fact, this story going back to 2006 about the National Security Agency whistleblower revelations then. So Obama then, once finished with corrupting the mechanisms of government, moved on to apply leverage to corrupt all the big US tech companies, Google, Facebook, Skype, Microsoft, all of them sucked in to this new regime. Now, we might think that the internet is a place where we are all equals and we all communicate, and it is a new civilian world, a new world where we can develop our ideas and understandings of how planet Earth actually works, where in some sense we are all equal because we can all communicate to everyone. They may not want to listen, but at least if they do, we can send it to anyone. But it is not an equal place. This week's revelations have proven it is very far from an equal place and is very far from a civilian place. The internet has been transformed into a militarily occupied state, when all of our private communications, heartfelt, the inner core of our life, communications between boyfriends and girlfriends, between husbands and wives, sons and daughters, between business partners, even between bureaucracies and states, when all of those communications are swept up, hoovered up into a vast collection apparatus, indexed and stored for all time, available only to a select few, then we're in a situation where we have a tank on the street of the inner core of our lives, where we have a soldier under our bed listening to everything that a husband and wife says to each other when they're communicating on email or SMS. The penetration of the digital of civilian life is also the penetration of the military and intelligence agencies of civilian life. Now, I want to go back and look at what I wrote in this book, Cypherpunks, back in October 2012. Now, there's a reason I don't hold it up for long, because it is available in almost every country but Australia. It is even available in London, of all places. I wrote then, the world is not sliding, but galloping into a new transnational dystopia. This development has not been properly recognized outside of national security circles. It has been hidden by secrecy, by complexity, and by scale. The internet, our greatest tool of emancipation, has been transformed into the most dangerous facilitator of totalitarianism that we have ever seen. The internet has become a threat to human civilization. These transformations have come about silently because those who know what is going on in the global surveillance industry have no incentives to speak out. Left to its own trajectory, in some years, Global civilization will be a postmodern surveillance dystopia from which escape for all but the most skilled individuals will be impossible. In fact, we may already be there. And I go on to call for action. We must communicate what we have learned, why there is still a chance for you, the reader, to understand and act what is happening. It is time to take up the arms of our new world, the internet, and I'll explain what those arms are, to fight for ourselves and for those we love. Our task is to secure self-determination where we can, to hold back the coming dystopia where we cannot, and if all else fails, to accelerate its destruction. Now, I don't know if Edward Snowden read those words, but I do know that he read and paid close attention to the case of Bradley Manning and the community of people that I am involved in, who has been trying to expose this phenomena for a long time. What Snowden provided was, going back to our description of art, an idealized proof. He provided a direction where he provided a clear direction so that we can understand where we are now. And for that, he is certainly a hero in his character, but he is also a hero to all, in fact, of humanity, all humanity, because this phenomena is something that affects all of humanity. And if we are not careful, is going to rip out the most important and cherished aspects of our freedom in this new world that we have been transforming, galloping into with such glee. Now that seems like a very negative description of the state of the world. But I want to talk about another phenomena. Simultaneously, as the internet has penetrated society and military and security agencies have come in together with it, like crabs in the tide, and penetrated and intercepted our most important communications. We have, over the last 4 years, developed a new body politic, an unconscious body politic that is not even aware yet of itself. That new body politic is natural. If a group of people are placed together for the first time in an island, or if this audience stayed in this hall for the next 6 months, it would develop an understanding about what it found to be important and what its hopes were and what its dreams were. The internet, in bringing people together, in penetrating nearly every society, has created a new realm where political discussion about values, discussion about what is important to us as a race, as a human race, has developed. Now, it is still unrecognized to most of the people who are going through it. But of course, it is only natural. There cannot be anything else. When we put people together and we have them communicate, they develop certain values and understandings. The transition over the last 4 years has been to take the internet from a politically apathetic space into a political space, where those people who are engaged with it understand the decisions that affect the internet also affect their lives online and affect their lives offline. And that they want to fight to preserve those things that they find important and fight to suppress those who would take them away. And the alleged actions of Bradley Manning and Snowden and many others are part of that phenomenon, part of that development of a new understanding of who we are as an international people. Of course, it has come with the youngest people, people under the age of 20, people who were in effect born into this world, who went through their initial struggles of adulthood in this world, who are educated by this world, who are educated by our beliefs, and by what we have seen, and by this mass political education, the undreamt of political education in human history. There has never been such a moment where so many people from so many places have seen what the world is really like, what their place in the world is, what the place and behavior of others near to them truly is. From that, there has been a distillation of values. Now, it is only beginning, and they are still hard to see, and most people involved still can't see them. But we have already something that is clear to me, a distillation of the first value of our new global civilization. And that first value is something that is coupled to the network itself. It is the right to communicate, the right to speak what we believe, the right to receive information from others. It is those rights which are associated with United Nations Article 19, the right to receive and impart information in any medium across frontiers. Of course, that is the first right that comes out, because it is inherent in the interaction. And when we see proper polls, an open poll for any organization or individual who best reflects the values of this new world, who do we see winning? In 2012, the Open Human Rights Award that anyone could vote for from California, who was it won by? Was it won by some princess? Was it won by the head of Amnesty? No, it was won by Bradley Manning, because he symbolizes the values of this new world. In 2013, it was conducted again. Who won it in 2013? I won it in 2013 as a symbol that my struggle is a symbol for the values that are important in this new world. The 2012 Guardian Person of the Year, who won it with 70% majority? Was it Pussy Riot in Russia, who were also on the poll? No. They received 2.3% of the vote. In the English-speaking world, who won that poll with 70% of the vote? It was Bradley Manning, because he represents, through his struggle, the values of our new world. If we go back to Time magazine in 2011, their open poll on who should win the Time magazine Person of the Year. Who won it? Anonymous, because they represented the values that people find important in this struggle. We go back to 2010, when I was in prison and in solitary confinement. Who won the Time magazine Person of the Year? I did, with 20 times the vote of Mark Zuckerberg, who Time magazine decided to give the award to. Through these democratic mechanisms, we can see the true beliefs of people, international people, at least in English, being reflected by voting for those that they find to be symbols of what they believe to be important. It's not that Julian Assange is so cool. It's not that Bradley Manning is so cool. It's rather that their struggle represents